I still was like, don't mess with my kid.
Today on Poor Decisions, we'll be talking about setting boundaries with your mom. And I have none other than Tish Cyrus here with me today, who I feel like is very well versed in the subject, especially with working with your daughter, Brandy, on Cyrus vs. Cyrus.
It's kind of crazy because I
Really?
work with all three of my girls every day. I manage both Miley and Noah, and then I do the show Cyrus vs. Cyrus with Brandy.
You have a pretty big family.
Yeah.
Out of all your kids, which one do you think was the most rebellious?
Yeah, Deaf Miley.
Didn't want to ask, but
Yeah, Miley loves to push a boundary, you know?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Definitely. We are drinking mother's milk,
That
which
is
is a little
disgusting.
gross. Yeah. Just a fancy, weird name, I guess, for a White Russian.
Yeah, it's like, no. This is definitely a no.
So these questions range from your mom and you being a little too TMI to too overprotective. So the first question is, I feel like my parents are so overprotective and strict. How do I let them know that that's an issue?
I have to say my mom was very overprotective. It wasn't as much strict, but very overprotective. Like, I never got to stay all night with people. Everybody had to stay all night with me. And I don't know, maybe I didn't realize it then, but looking back, I realized how overprotective she was. And I think that comes from such a place of love. So be gentle to your mom. Us moms, man, we love you guys, and you gotta be easy on us.
I know, I think I'm always so afraid to like tell my mom something. I don't want to hurt her feelings or things like that. I've seen so many kids that were so, like, had so many overprotective parents that then they ended up doing the opposite.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and then their relationship got worse because they were keeping secrets and things like that. So I think honesty is the way to go.
I'm very open with my kids. And I think that's why we do have the relationship we have, because we are so open with each other. You know, people are like, well, I don't let my kids watch this or that. And I'm like, really? Because when they go to their friend's house, they're watching it anyway. So I would rather them watch it with me or at my house and then communicate about it. And I just feel like setting too strict of boundaries usually backfires.
I agree. Mom? No, I'm just kidding. The next question is, my parents treat me like I'm such a little kid, and how do I kind of talk to them that I'm grown up now and I'm more mature? So I feel like, you know, especially with girls too, it's like puberty hits where you feel like we're the best person ever, the coolest thing.
It's insane.
So has there ever been a time where like, you kind of acknowledge that your kids are like growing up and it's time to let go, maybe?
I think the hardest one for me is Noah, just because she's the baby. And I really wanted to hold on to that. And, you know, I didn't even want her to start doing music till she was 18 because she's my little baby. She's the first one that had to say to me, Mom, I'm 16. You know, when there were times that I was really still treating her like so much younger than maybe she was. So she's the only one of mine that really had to say, Mom, get a grip. So that it is really hard, but I think you definitely have to have that conversation because, you know, Noah did say that to me, like, Mom, I'm not 12, I'm 16.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest, and anytime I like do anything to my hair or anything, my mom's like, oh, it's my little girl. I'm like, Mom, I'm 24. Like, I am
My
an
mom
adult.
still does that. If I cut my hair or I do my hair, she'll be like, oh, why did you do that? I'm like, Mother,
I am an
excuse
adult.
me, I'm a very old woman. Like,
I don't know how to handle when my parents talk about their personal love life.
ew, I do not do that.
I don't want that. And even if my mom asks me about my relationships, I'm like, no thank you. I don't want to
Oh, my girls will tell me, and I'm like,
Really?
I do not, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah. But then again, it's the same thing as I go back to, is I want to have an open relationship with my girls and my boys, and know that they can tell me whatever.
Yeah.
And they do, and sometimes, you know, it is awkward, but I would rather have that than not communicate with them in that way.
And not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I think about my brother, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's harder.
No, thanks.
Yeah, that's hard conversations.
how much do I tell my parents about my significant other? And I think like I've usually just told my parents, like, the hardest part is me telling my parents I'm dating someone. I think that's the first hurdle.
Really?
Because they're always like, who are you going on dates with? Who are you seeing? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. But then when I finally have that established relationship, I feel like it's easier to talk about.
Absolutely. When my kids ask me a question, like I'm always honest with them. You know, whether they like it or they don't, and a lot of times they don't, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but like I got to be honest with you.
Even if you don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
I've gotten it too many times.
Sometimes they're mad at me for a minute, and then it's like, okay, I'm glad you told me the truth. You know?
Someone asks, I always feel like I'm being compared to other people or to my siblings, and I feel like I'm the loser. Which is sad. And I'm sure you're not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I have been guilty of that, and it's horrible because everybody's so different. And I feel like it is hard when you have, you know, like Molly, who knows what she wanted to do with her life at 12. That is not normal, but that was my normal. And so then to have the other kids really not know what they wanted to do at 12, I'm like, oh, well, why do you not know, Molly? You know, so I do think that is so freaking hard, you know, but so probably hurtful. And I think I probably could have been guilty of that for a minute. And I've had 5 kids, so I've had experience.
I'm sure.
And now I realize that that should never happen because each and one of them are uniquely their own. And that's a great thing.
My brother was always the very type A, super smart, driven guy, and I was like more, like literally so creative, total opposite, and I felt like I was always being compared this way, but then when I talked to my brother, he was like, oh my God, I wish I was the creative one, or I wish this. So I feel like, you know, accepting the fact that you are different is the best thing to do.
I absolutely believe that.
Yeah. Your parents don't love one more than the other.
Absolutely
like,
not.
right?
They absolutely don't. Like I'm obsessed with each and every one of my kids, and they're all 5 so different. And I just could not be more obsessed with my kids and love them more than anything in the world. And I didn't have that problem because I was the only child. So
God, that's a big difference.
Everything I did was right.
Someone asked, my parents keep showing up unannounced at school and when I'm with my friends, and it's so embarrassing. What do I do?
Oh boy.
I remember having my mom come in. One time I was being bullied at school, and I called my mom on like those old Nokia phones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I called her and I was like, I'm being bullied like this. And she, like 20 minutes later, I see kind of like the crowd in the hallway split apart, and it's my mom.
Oh, I did that.
And she finds the girl who's bullying me. She goes, "You're coming with me right now." And I was like, "Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That is so badass."
It's
my mom
so
did
badass. I showed up at school when somebody was bullying Molly as well. And unfortunately, I think her dad was like the sheriff or something, and it was not cute.
Oh
but
my God.
I still was like, don't mess with my kid. The only other one I did is one time she got invited to a dance here. And I was thinking, oh, these kids are gonna be crazy. We're in Los Angeles, you know, we're from Nashville. And I made Billy Ray follow them to the school and park outside. And at one point I read it, I was like peeking in the window watching her dance. So Molly, I followed you to your first dance. Yes, I did. Billy Ray was like, okay. I didn't want her to know, but I absolutely did that.
I even remember like at soccer games or things like that, my dad would like show up and be like screaming my name, and I'm like, please, Dad.
Oh, that was me with Noah and horses.
Oh.
I was such a horse show mom. If I'm at the boys and they're playing music,
Oh God.
I am like dancing, like you have
Spotlight
no,
on
you have no idea.
God.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, but
I can't believe you followed her.
I did. I really did. Followed her there and back, and then like peered in while she was dancing.
At least she was like doing what she was supposed to be
Yes,
doing.
she was.
So good on you, Miley.
Yeah. The one thing that I've always told my kids is no matter what, and you're mad at me, there's not one time I'm not coming from a place of love. Like, I love you so much, and I'm always coming from a place of love, so please don't be mad at me.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one thing to remember is a lot of friends come and go, boyfriends come and go, but your mom and your dad, like, it's everything.
Yeah, and so when we kind of, in these episodes, we take one big piece of advice we've learned, or a big take-home piece of advice, which I feel like we've talked about a lot, is kind of just being open and being willing to be open. Takeaway I've seen is that the more overprotective you are, the more they'll rebel, and that's what I've seen. But like, I'm not a parent, you know?
My mom was very, very overprotective. And then when I turned 18, I was like driving to Myrtle Beach with the top down and refusing to come home. You know, like if you've been that overprotected, there is no doubt you're gonna rebel. And pick your battles, pick and choose your battles, because you know, you can't control everything.
So yeah, if you're a kid dealing with an overprotective parent, I think we both come to the conclusion it's all about communication and being honest. And odds are you're not doing anything crazy, and you could just talk to them.
Absolutely.
And like you said, like you would rather have your kids tell you than hide something from you.
That's right.
So
I just think communication with your parents is number one.
yeah, it's hard, but
Yep.
it works.
It does. Good luck.
Yeah, really. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you for joining me. And we have this like mother-daughter perspectives going on here.
Yes, we do.
And please be sure to catch Cyrus versus Cyrus on
Yes.
Thursdays on Bravo. I've actually learned a lot about design. I will be honest.
I love design. Yes, please tune in. It's Thursdays. This Thursday is a great episode, and then the following Thursday is an episode that has our entire family on it, and it's an hour. So
Man.
please tune in. It's so good. Actually, in this episode, Billy Ray challenges me to take this old dilapidated barn and turn it into a guest house for Molly. It was
my
literally falling over.
Amazing. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. And please check out Tish on all of her socials.
Yes, Tish Cyrus on
Yep.
Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, and then check out this show every Thursday as well.
Yep.
On Popsugar Girls Guide. And please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and like and subscribe. And you can catch me on YouTube at Candace Lowry and on Instagram at Candy Lowry. And
Cute.
please be sure to also submit your questions on Popsugar's Snapchat for Dear Candace that I host every couple of weeks. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And I guess we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.